Today we're going to work on how to find the slope of a line while looking at a graph. So here's our first example that we're going to look at. As you can see, it has a positive slope. And what we do is we take a look at that first line. And our first step is we're going to pick two good points. Now, a good point means that it is at the crosshairs of two solid numbers. So we don't want anything that's a fraction or a decimal. So we're going to find two good points. And so our first one that we're looking is right here. And that, of course, is on the y-axis. And that's the point 0, -3. Now, it's good to follow up your line and go ahead and find the next good point. So as we're following up here, I'm looking for my next good point that is in the crosshairs, and I see it's right here. I'm going to continue going, and my next good point is right here at the ordered pair 5, 4. So we're going to go ahead and take a look, and now we're going to find delta y. Now, delta y, delta means change. I'm looking at how far on the y-axis I go from one point to reach the next. This is our rise in our slope. So we're looking from one point to the next. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. That delta y means change in y values between the 2 points. So I can see as I'm going up here, I'm moving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means that I have a rise of 7. Now I'm going to go ahead and find delta x, which is change of x. So I'm going to go from this top point that I am right here after I found my rise, and I'm going to count over how many spots to reach the second dot, and that's my run. So this is my run, and I know you guys have heard rise over run, so I'm going from left to right, and this is my change in x. So to get over there, I'm going to move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my run in this case is 5. Now I'm going to go ahead and write this as rise over run. So my rise is 7, my run is 5. So delta y over delta x. And so my slope in this case, which we know is an m in my equation, is 7/5, 7 over 5. Now, our last step is to assign a sign. We need to take one last look at our line and say, is this a positive slope or a negative slope? Now, the way that I always think about this is like a positive slope is like climbing up a mountain. So here I am ready to climb up my mountain. It's a beautiful day. The sun is out. The birds are shining, and I'm climbing up to the top of the mountain. And when I get to the top of my mountain, what I see is rainbows and unicorns and sparkles, and it's a beautiful day. This was an extremely positive experience for me. So as I'm reading it like a book from left to right, if I'm climbing and getting healthy and finding rainbows and unicorns at the top, that's a positive experience. So a line that looks like this is a positive slope. However, on the other hand, I'm at the top of the mountain. I'm going down and I trip. I fall down my cliff and I land on my head. This was not a fabulous experience. So a line that looks like this, rolling down and falling off of a hill, is a negative slope. So I go ahead and take a look and I see this is a positive slope, so I'm going to leave that as 7/5. Now, the other part that I need for my equation is to find the y-intercept. And that is where the line crosses the y-axis. And as you can see in this case, it's crossing that axis at -3 on the y-axis. So my b, which is my symbol for my y-intercept, is -3. So my equation for this is y equals 7/5 x minus 3. Let's go ahead and review with our second graph here. So our first step is find those two good points. So here they are. I'm now going to find my rise, which is actually going down in this case. So my rise is -3. I'm then going to find my run, and I can see that I run 1 to the right. I write this as a fraction, rise over run, and that gives me -3 over 1. However, if it's over 1, I'm going to reduce that fraction to an integer, so my slope is -3. I can go ahead and take a look and see that I have a y-intercept of -1. Once again, I see that I'm falling off a cliff, so I know that that slope should be negative. And now I'm going to put it all together in y equals mx plus b form. And the equation of this line is y equals negative 3x minus 1.